Namaste everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So we are on our journey of embarking on the profound exploration of Ashtavakra Gita as we go verse by verse. In this video, we are exploring the timeless jewel of Advaita Vedanta that pierces the veil of illusion and unveils the radiant truth of self. And these verses are not mere words, but they are the luminous pointers to ultimate reality of our own boundlessness, the non dual awareness. So, as we unpack each verse, let us weave together the elegance of Advaita's philosophy, the depth of its insights, and the transformative power it has wielded across centuries, touching the lives of luminaries like Ramana Maharishi, Nisargadatta Maharaj, and even modern seekers like Eckhart Tolle. So, starting with the verse, meditate upon the self as motionless awareness. Here, Ashtavakra quotes, meditate upon the self as motionless awareness, free from any dualism, giving up the mistaken idea that you are a reflected self or anything external or eternal. Internal. So, this verse is a clarion call to shift our gaze from the ephemeral to the eternal. And Ashtavakra invites us to meditate upon the self as not an object to be grasped, but as the very subject of all experiences, the unchanging awareness that witnesses the dance of thoughts, emotions, and sensations. And the term motionless is striking here. It points to the self's immutable nature, untouched by the flux of time or space. Unlike the mind, which fits restlessly like a butterfly, the self is the still, luminous backdrop against which all movement appears. And the instruction to free ourselves from any dualism is the heart of Advaita Vedanta. The notion of separate I confronting the world of others is the root of suffering. And here Ashtavakra urges us to transcend this illusion by abandoning the mistaken idea of being reflected self. So, what is the reflected self? It is the ego, the false I that arises when pure awareness mistakenly identifies with the body, mind, or external objects. So, here, imagine a mirror, okay? Imagine the mirror that is reflecting the sun, and the reflection is not the sun itself, yet we confuse the two here. So, similarly, we mistake the ego, the fleeting reflection in the mind, for our true self. Advaita teaches us that the self is neither internal nor external. It is the non-dual awareness that transcends and pervades both. And here Ramana Maharishi, the sage from Arunachal, echoed this when he said, the self is not in the body is in the self. So to meditate upon this thought is to rest in the natural state, free from the tyranny of false identification. So consider the analogy of wave and the ocean. The wave appears distinct, yet it is never separate from the ocean. We are not the fleeting ego, but the infinite awareness in which all experiences arise and dissolve. And this verse is a profound invitation to Jnana Yoga, the path of self-inquiry. So by contemplating the self as motionless and non-dual, we loosen the grip of ego. And as Nisargadatta Maharaj declared that you are not to think what you are, but you are the one who sees the thinking. So let us hold this truth close. Yes, we have to hold this truth very close and allow it to dissolve the illusion of separation. Going on the another verse, the snare of identification. You have, here Ashtavakra quotes it in this way. You have long been trapped in the snare of identification with the body. Sever it with the knife of knowledge, and that I am pure consciousness, and be happy, my son. He quotes this way as he is telling this to King Janaka. So, in this verse, Ashtavakra's words are both a diagnosis and a remedy for human condition. The snare of identification with the body is the primordial error that binds us to samsara, the cycle of birth and suffering. For eons, we have taken ourselves to be the fragile, transient form, a body subjected to decay, desire, and death. And this misidentification is like a bird caught in a net, fluttering helplessly, unaware of its boundless freedom. And Ashtavakra offers a radical solution. Wield the knife of knowledge to cut through this illusion. And what is this knowledge? It is the direct experience. It is a direct experiencing of realization, and that I am pure consciousness. And this is not a belief to be adopted, but it is a truth to be recognized. And pure consciousness is not a thing, not a state to be achieved, but our very nature, eternal, unchanging, and ever free. And the phrase here, I am pure consciousness, is a Mahavakya, a great saying akin to Upanishadic declarations like Tat Tatvam Asi. It is a sort of discernment that severs the false from the true. The imagery of the knife is potent. Just as a single precise cut can feed a trapped animal, unwavering recognition of our true nature liberates us instantly. And Ashtavakra's affectionate address, like when he says, My son, reveals his compassion, reminding us that liberation is not distant but intimately available. And what's the result? Obviously, it's happiness. Not the fleeting pleasure of the senses, but the unshakable joy of the self, the Ananda. And this teaching resonates with the word of Adi Shankaracharya, the great Advaita, who wrote Viveka Chudamani. The body is mere superimposition upon the self, like a snake imagined on a rope. And modern teachers like Eckhart Tolle echoes this, urging us to disidentify from the pain body and rest in the spacious presence of the awareness. So to live this verse is to reclaim our birthright, the bliss of being what we already are. Now let's move on to the another verse. You are already free. So here Ashtavakra quotes it in this way. You are really unattached and actionless, self-luminous and without any taints already. And the cause of your bondage is that you practice meditation. Okay, this verse is breathtaking culmination, okay? A paradoxical twist that appends the conventional spiritual practice. And Ashtavakra declares that we are already free, unattached, actionless, and self-luminous, stainless. And these qualities are not achievements but the inherent nature of the self. Unattached means the self is never bound to objects or outcomes, and actionless indicates that the self is the witness, not the doer of action performed by the body and mind. And self-luminous reveals that awareness needs no external light to shine. It is the source of all illumination. So without any taints affirms the self's purity, untouched by sin, karma, or imperfection. And yet Ashtavakra delivers a startling insight. The cause of our bondage is that we practice meditation, and this statement is not a rejection of meditation but a critique of practicing it with a wrong understanding. So if we meditate to attain enlightenment or become the self, we reinforce the illusion of separation. We assume that we are limited ego striving for a future state, thus perpetuating duality. And true meditation in Advaita is not an act but a state of being, resting effortlessly in the self without seeking or striving. And Ramana's Maharishi's teaching aligns perfectly here. Your effort is itself the bondage. Simply be quiet and know that you are the self. And Ashtavakra Gita is uncompromising to its non-dual vision. There is no path to self because we are already that. And even the Buddha, in his own way, pointed that when he spoke like unborn, uncreated reality beyond all striving. And this verse re-invites us to drop all the effort and abide in our natural state. It is like a fish realizing that it is already in the ocean, or a dreamer awakening to find that the dream was never real. And the elegance of Ashtavakra's teaching lies in its simplicity. So stop seeking and you will find that freedom was never lost. So, thank you all for listening to me. I hope my series on igniting awareness via Ashtavakra Gita is helping us all to be aware of our true self. Thank you all.